up everybody, you alright? Could this be my park up for tonight? We don't know, we'll see, we'll have a look. But I'm going to take you with me and we're going to try and find somewhere. That's what this little vlog's going to be about, finding park ups. So, in my last vlog I did a day in the life, a van tour, that type of thing, and then I parked up in one of my favourite park ups in the Peak District, somewhere where I park all the time. I love it up there. And I've had loads of lovely comments, and thank you so much for them. But I've had a comment, quite a few people have asked, or messages and stuff, people asking me for more advice about park ups. So I thought, well, I'll do a little vlog about it, and that's why we're here. That's this vlog, and it's about park ups. So I know it's quite niche, it's not everybody's cup of tea this, but you know, there's plenty of other vlogs for you to watch if it's not your thing. But I'm hoping people that are starting out with van life, and I know there's quite a few of you from what messages I get, are hoping that this can just give you a bit of advice and just assure you that it's nowhere near as bad as what you think it is. I was terrified at first, honestly. You think the moment you park up, people's going to be banging on your windows and stuff. What are you doing in there? It just don't happen. It never happens. Because think about it. You're walking down the street, you see a van parked up. You don't just go and bang on it, do you? Or even if a motorhome or anything, you don't know who's inside. And I know it's easy for me to say as a bloke, burly bloke, if you're a woman, and not being sexist obviously, but that could be, I can understand it could be a little bit more scary, but there's all sorts of things you can do. But the thing is, the people don't know who's inside the van. They don't even, people don't pay attention. I'm telling you, honestly, don't worry about it. So I put a thing on, a post this morning asking if any of you got any more questions. So what I'll do at the end of this vlog, I'll read through them and answer them. So I'm in Wakefield. Somebody's asked about my high chair, the car chair there. Oh, have you got a toddler? Well, she's not a toddler, she's 7. It's my daughter, and I spend a lot of time with my daughter every other weekend, half school holidays, midweek. I spend a lot of time, we spend a lot of time together. She's my bestie. I love her dearly. Obviously she's my daughter, but I'm in Wakefield today because I'm spending a few hours with her. I'm going to take her for tea, which I guarantee it'll either be Toby Carvery or McDonald's. They're her 2 favourites. And I don't ever put her on channel. She's been on a couple of times, but I blur her face out because, you know, she's not old enough to make that decision, is she? And there's some people in there that, you know, I'm a bit wary of. So what we'll do, I'll talk about park ups and finding spots. Then I'll have a bit of time with my daughter, and then I'll come back and we'll find a fresh park up in Wakefield. Completely unplanned. I'll drive round and we'll look at pros and cons of different areas. I've got my camera on dashboard so I can film that as I'm driving around. It might make an interesting vlog, who knows. But let me tell you the sort of main ways of parking. Obviously the main one is campsites, but you know, I'm not going to talk about that on this video because campsites, you know, it's a campsite, innit? I do use them occasionally because I'd like to plug my power thing in and charge up, and when they've got showers and stuff, if I'm on a bit of a trip. The next thing, and one of my favourites, like the pub I was at a moment ago, is pub stops, and it's getting more and more popular. There's a Facebook page which I can't remember the name of. I'll put it on screen. It's called something UK Pub Stopovers or something. It's a Facebook group that you join. It's free, obviously, and then it's got a search bar at the top, and you just type in. So say you're in Leicester, you type Leicester, and then loads of people, it's just like Facebook comments, and anybody stayed in Leicester, what can you recommend? And there's loads of pubs that are doing it, and usually you have to have a meal or a few drinks, but if you're planning on doing that anyway, it's not a big deal, is it? I do like pub stops. I mean, I could do that one tonight, what I've just shown you, but they've said they like you to have a meal. And I'm trying to be a bit healthy. And if I go in that pub, I'll be having pie and chips and 3 pints. Something, so I'm trying And especially, I can't because I'm having a carvery with my daughter, so I'll not stay there tonight. I didn't think of that. So yeah, pub stops. If you're starting out or you're going on a bit of a trip on a holiday, do pub stops. There's websites, there's Park for Night, you must have heard of that, and it's an app on your phone as well. And there's search for sites, and I think there's other ones as well, but I only use them two. And you can search by an area, and there's so many places. It's like York. I know a spot in York which I found on Park for Night, and it's more or less banging centre of York. You can pay £100, £200 for a hotel, or you can park on the street, and there's loads of vans there. You feel safe, safety in numbers. So obviously recommend Park for Night and search for sites, but if you're using them, read the reviews, because people put stuff on sometimes, and then sometimes you have issues with like remote car parks, and you might have boy races. Not that there's all wrong with that, and they're not going to cause you any problems, but it can just be a little bit noisy. And if it is that type of car park, people usually say in comments. Talking of car parks, I mean, it's getting worse. Like, you look at what's happened in Scarborough, and there's some councils are so backwards. It's like they hate motorhomes and camper vans and stuff. But then there is some councils that are right, sort of, you know, forward thinking. And I'm thinking, like, there's a car park in Chester, which is brilliant. Have you got to Chester? There's a car park, I can't remember the name of it, but you'll find it on Park for Night. It's the first one that comes up. But fair play to Chester Council for doing this sort of initiative. It's full of camper homes and motorhomes. It's brilliant. There's loads of motorhomes there and that, so it's safety in numbers again. You feel safe, and it's banging centre. There was gosh, there's been loads we've stayed in. You just have to find them on these apps. Ludlow, Ripon, Skipton, all good car parks. Skipton's got toilets and everything. Canterbury were a good one, the Park and Ride.
Nice. It's a good spot, this.
It is.
I love that van.
That was something like £4 to stay overnight, and you're there. It's like being on a campsite, but it's £4. They've even got facilities. They've got toilets, they've got water, you know, grey waste disposal and all that stuff, and you get a free bus into city centre. That's a forward-thinking council, isn't it? So there's those sort of places. Again, you'll find out about them on the apps. And then you've got Stealth, just parking wherever, and it's completely legal to sleep in your van, as long as it's not parked illegally, as long as it's parked all right and it's taxed and insured and all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with sleeping in your van. People don't come banging on your windows and stuff like that. I know watching some YouTubers, you know, it's happening all the time to them. I don't know, well, I've never had it once, and a lot of genuine van lifers will tell you that they've never had it. You ain't going up to vans when you see a van on the street and banging on window, are you? Whose is that van? I'll go and bang on window. If you saw a motorhome, would you do that? You don't know who's inside. Could be bloody ninjas. There could be a rugby team inside or whatever. I don't know, but you don't know who's inside. You're not going to start banging on windows. I'm not going to say it's never happened ever, and it might happen to me at some point, but it's not something I worry about. It's about when you're parking on streets. You see, when you're doing the stealth stuff, you can go down lay-bys and in forest areas, you know, really out at place, and you'll sleep well in them places. But it's a bit scary if you're on your own. I want Ellen with me so she can protect me if I go to places like that. I normally sleep on a street. That's where my channel name come from, By the Curb, because I'm parked up by curb sleeping. Now, I'm just parked on a regular street here. I won't park outside somebody's house because that's going to draw attention. There's certain types of roads, and that's what we're going to look at tonight. They're sort of on estates, but they're sort of around corner where there's no houses, or you're near blocks of flats, or where there's a lot of housing. So your van's just parked up. People don't know. You're not going to do it on a little cul-de-sac where there's 3 houses, because they're all going to likely know each other's cars, aren't they? And if a van's turned up, they're going to be like, whose is that van? But if there's a lot of housing or flats and apartments and stuff nearby, it could be anybody just visiting an apartment. It's got to be flat though, always make sure it's flat. And you do want somewhere fairly quiet. But there's lots, you just get a feel. You get a feel for a place. I'll tell you a good tip. Near graveyards is always all right. There tends to be streets, and there'll be you want like a high wall or something like that. They tend to be good. There's certain hotels, big chain hotels. They are getting a bit wise to it now, but I know a couple in Wakefield. Might go and have a look tonight, see if it's still the same. But it's same anywhere, and there's no restrictions. You can just go and park in car park. They don't know whether you're staying in a hotel or not. So yeah, I've done pubs onto just industrial estates. You'll see lorry drivers. They tend to pull up and sleep. You know, they don't have any issues, do they? So that's all the different types of places. I'm going to go and pick my daughter up now and spend a little bit of time with her, and then I'll come back later. We'll find somewhere to park, and I'll answer all the questions. Hopefully I've got sent some questions and I'll answer them when I'm back at RAM. And I'll just go through the process of finding a brand new spot and what I do. All right, so see you in a bit. Right, I didn't think about it being dark, did I? So I don't even know if you can see me. I've dropped my daughter off and I need to find somewhere to sleep. It's funny because I saw somewhere earlier which it might be perfect, and it's round the back of Toby Carvery. So we'll have a look at that, but I'll try and find somewhere else. I've got my dashboard camera, and I'll just drive along, and when I see something that might be of interest, I'll record it, and we'll talk about it. Right, I'm going to have to do this as a voiceover because the audio in the van on the dashboard camera was terrible. You can't hear what I'm saying. But anyway, I was driving around some estates in Wakefield. Couldn't really find anything. I found this little bit coming up on the right. If you have a look, there's a little bit of a sort of lay-by type thing. Not too bad, but it was fairly close to some houses that were on the left. So I thought I'd give that a miss. Then I saw this just around the corner where there's the fence. Behind that fence they're sort of building a house, so there's nobody in it, it's empty. Again, I thought I could park up against that fence. It's a fairly quiet road. Then I headed back towards Wakefield town centre, and I remembered that to the right there's a canal on the right hand side, and there's lots of narrowboats. So I thought there might be somewhere down there near the narrowboats. So I just turned right here behind the petrol station and Costa Coffee. But as I pulled down it, you'll see in a minute, it was a bit, I don't know, it was a bit dark, and it worried me, it scared me, to be honest. The narrowboats are on your left. I continued down thinking there might be something further down, and then I just inadvertently ended up pulling into a yard, which you can see just coming up here. So I quickly retreated away to find something else. Then I was driving towards Pugneys, towards New Millerdam rather, and I saw this lane, so I pulled down it, and I went to the bottom and I did a U-turn because I saw this on the right, which is now on the left because I did a U-turn, and there's that wall. I like to be parked at the side of a wall, and yeah, I thought this is a potential. I thought this is option number one, but I couldn't see behind the wall. I didn't know what were there, whether they were offices or houses or what, so I wasn't 100% sure. But it was, you know, nice and quiet. So yeah, this is option number one, on a lane. Then I quickly found another place which I like to go near churches. There's a sports ground on the left here where the floodlit football and stuff like that. But on the right, you see coming up, there's a lay-by, and behind that lay-by is a church, and I thought, well, this is perfect. So I did a U-turn and I pulled into the lay-by, and I thought, yeah, this is a good spot, this. And I sat here for a bit and I contemplated
But this is option number 2 next to the church.
What do you reckon? This or last one? You've just got to try and trust your intuition. It's difficult. This is alright, I guess. But then the one I saw earlier by the Toby Carvery is probably better than both those two.
So we've got 2 options, but then I remembered the Toby Carvery place, what I saw earlier in the day. So I'd been for lunch with me, for dinner with my daughter there, and I saw this lane just coming up at the other side of the roundabout on the right hand side. And when I went past it in the daytime, or earlier on in the day, there was lots of vans and cars and things parked along. So you see this bit on the right, it's actually next to the Weatherby Whaler restaurant, under that light, and it looked like a fantastic spot in the day. But then at night time I wasn't so sure, so I turned around again, pulled up a little bit and thought, yeah, this is potential, this could be the one. I sort of soaked in the atmosphere for a bit, and then I think I eventually decided that this would be the best option. So this is option number 3 behind Toby Carvery.
It's going to be the Toby Carvery Park Up. It feels alright, this. I'm a little bit more nervous tonight. I'm never nervous, and like I said, there's no to worry about, no whatever happens, but you know, because I'm vlogging it, I think, oh, I'm like tempting fate, something's going to happen. I'm just going to sit here for 10 minutes. Mind you, it's too early. It's only 8 o'clock. I wonder if that gym was 24 hours. It'd be better if it was. I'll do some research and then I'll head to Asda. Asda's just around the corner. That's when I'm going to spend my evening, in Asda. And then I'll probably just come back here. I'll have bed ready and everything in Asda, and I'll just come here, park up quick and go to sleep. And I think it'll be fairly peaceful here. So here we are in the back of the van in the Asda car park, living the dream. I don't need to do anything to eat because I've had my tea with my daughter. I've got to stop drinking this crap. So what I'd normally do is just, I'll be editing for a good couple of hours. What time is it now? It's 8:30. Then I'll make the bed up, get my gymmers on and head to that park up and just jump in back and go to sleep. There's a car bombing round with music on. It were really loud a minute ago. I've turned it down a bit. That's probably get to places like this to get sort of boy races and stuff. I'm knackered. It's 10:15, so I've made my bed up and I'm going to go to my spot and go to sleep and hopefully have a good night's sleep. Oh. Hey. So you probably can't see anything now because I'm sat here with lights off. I'll just sit here for 5 minutes, put my crook lock on, and then jump it back. So what I'll do, I'll get in bed and I'll watch a bit of telly for a bit with the volume on low. What's going to happen? What's going to happen really? There's an industrial estate. Know what's going to happen around here? There's not like marauding gangs wandering around looking for van lifers, is there? You know, it's all in his heads. It's you lot making me nervous.
Shaking so much
Oh, it's cloudy. Oh dear. Let's have a peek through the square window. What a miserable day. I slept alright, to be honest. Can't complain. I'd stay here again, actually. I mean, it's not as good as my other park-ups in Wakefield, because from about 7 o'clock you've got vans and cars and that going past, but you know, it's alright. I had a good night. But we've got to make this bed up first. So this is the park up. Not too bad. Slept well. Got the gym there, which all starts coming alive about 7 o'clock, I reckon. As I said in my last video, I'm doing that intermittent fasting, but when you're doing YouTube you need to do a bit of cooking for content, don't you? So, well, I say cooking, I'm talking fried eggs and porridge. It's not really cooking, is it, that? But I'm just going to tidy around and then I'll get on with my breakfast. These are super fast oats. Too hot. What was that? Oh, that's helping, isn't it? I'm just trying to vlog here and guess who's rung me. You there, Ellen?
Oh, I am here.
Say hello, I'm vlogging.
Hello. Hello, everybody. I'd just like to say thank you very, very much for all your sort of nice messages and asking how I am and things. And I'm pleased to say I am now on the mend.
You're taking over already. You're not even on this vlog and you're taking over.
I'm not 100%. Anyway, I'd just like to add, do you know when James was on about, what? Woman flu or something? You will all know, ladies out there, that
this
he
is
was
not
totally
getting
wrong.
on. This was just supposed to be. I just thought I'd let you say hello and you're taking over already. Congealed together and I wanted to flip them over. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't see me do much cooking on this channel. But it's protein, isn't it? Right, so I put a post on for any questions which are related to parking. I've had a quick look at them and hardly anybody's sent me any questions to do with parking. What you like? How do I find it? Community. I've had 34 comments and I bet there's 2 questions. I'm steaming up. Look at me. Steaming up here, bloody hell, it's got some hot stuff. Always great content, and I bloody love Helen. About me? Rachel. Hi James, this is Gary. Now Gary was he was the first subscriber we ever met, and that was in, we were in Wales, we were going up Snowdon. And he come up to us in a cafe and he started talking. I'm thinking, who's this guy? I didn't think about YouTube, but yeah, and he's followed us ever since. So hello, Gary. And he's put, "Hi James, I hope Helen is feeling better, mate, and you definitely have outgrown your van, which I think would be fantastic to start off with, but you need a bit more room to stretch out. Honestly, how you two sleep side by side on that bed, yes, I know it's cosy, but yeah. Keep up the great vlogs, and this winter is going to be a cold one, mate. It's been coming for a while, as we have had some mild ones recently. Gary and Jane." Hey up, Gary and Jane, and I really appreciate you following me all the time that you have done. And I love your comments and everything. Right, oh, what's happened? "Does that know, James? Don't matter what you or Helen vlog, it's always a joy to watch. Keep doing what you want. You're two made for one another. Sidic, Colin, Chris." With 3 messages in here and we haven't had a question yet. "Apart from the standard locks that come with the van, have you added any additional security to your van, like more locks or CCTV?" And that's from your local burglar. That's from Mark. I don't know if I should say. I've got a crook lock, but these vans are quite secure. But I've not added any other locks on. The new van, I've got some other little security secret things in here, like spikes that shoot up and flamethrowers. No, but I have got a little bit of security. The new van is going to be overload. Honestly, I'm going to be so paranoid because it's taken me a lot to get to a position where I can get a van, so a better van. So I'm going to have top security on it. So if anybody can recommend it, I've heard about that Ghost or something. Is that like a tracker, ghost tracker? "How often do you park in towns and cities? Do you stick to lay-bys, or do you go to industrial parks or residential streets?" It's a mixture, really. I guess that one last night, that was an industrial estate, really, and a bit of a lay-by. It were a good spot. I'd not park there again, but that's purely because I've got some really, really good park-ups in Wakefield and Barnsley. My favourite spots, I've mentioned before, pub stops are my favourite, but you can't do pub stops all the time. Although you can get a relationship with some people and they'll just let you park there even if you're not going in that particular night. But if they know you, they're not going around vans in car park checking whether you've had a meal. But you've got to be fair to them because they're offering you that facility. You know, I have stayed in a pub car park and I've not had a meal, but they know me a little bit, and I've had loads. I've spent fortunes in there, so they're all right. My secret spots, what I have, well, one's in a village and it's along a park, so you know you get like a long straight road where there's a park or something, you might get a high wall, and it's quite an upmarket village, very sleepy. I have to be quite stealthy there, and I don't go there that often because I don't want to attract attention. Then there's one that's at the side of a graveyard. There's a car park, which is a hotel car park. What else have I got? My other favourites are at the Peak District. There's little plots of land and up on lanes and little sort of... But there's always lots of other van lifers around there, so it feels really safe. Last night, I hope the camera picked up with it being dark. So I found 3 new spots. I found the one what I stayed in, I found the one by the church, and I found the one which could have been near a house. I don't know if that were a house, and I don't want to park straight outside a house, but I think any of them could have been alright. Love watching your vlogs. Thank you. That's from Kim. From Sharon, really enjoy your vlogs and looking forward to your upcoming content, new van, new home, etc. Future is looking bright. Don't you fancy doing the Christmas markets? Bournemouth starts there in 6 weeks. All the best. Yeah, we'll do a Christmas market. You've got to do Christmas markets, haven't you, when you're a YouTuber? We'll probably only do one because I'm not right keen on them. It's just a load of tat, innit? Overpriced, and like toffee apples and chocolates that are 20 quid each. And what's that drink what they all have which is horrible? Is it like a mulled wine? Horrible. Rebecca Brooks, she says she'll miss seeing the little van. The inside is so cosy, but I understand you needing more space, and she's looking forward to our adventures. I'm really going to miss this van. I'm quite a sentimental person, so yeah, I've thought about keeping it, but that would be stupid. Hey up James, do you ever regret the van life during the cold winter months? Ask me in January. Do you know what? It's a cliche, but van life is the best thing I've ever done, and it's not as brilliant in winter. It just makes you appreciate spring and summer more. But it's not bad. I mean, it's quite cold out there now, and I'm sat in here with a t-shirt on. This van is insulated so well. You know, you just get wrapped up and you have your heater on. Douglas, enjoying all your vlogs, James. Get well soon, Helen. Hope all your plans pan out. Wild and Welsh has put, looks very cosy in the crib, but if you have to leave fast, can you squeeze through the portal to the front door or have outside viewing cameras? That window, there's not a chance on earth. I'll not show you with camera, but you've seen it because I've got camera set up in the perfect position. But yeah, I'd never. Technically, I probably could squeeze through it, but I'd likely get stuck. It'd be like, have you seen that video with that woman in window when she's climbing through a window and the top comes up? It'd be like that, except with my belly. Ellen could get through that easy. I get what you're saying, and the new vans, I've already been looking at CCTV for new van, even though we don't even know what the new van is yet, but I'll have CCTV and I'll have something. But most motorhomes have got access to cab anyway, so that's if I go for a motorhome. Is there a favourite pub? This is from Kathy. Is there a favourite pub that has let you stay in car park if you buy a meal pint? Also, have you ever gone back to a park up spot that was good? Yeah, well, I've talked about the pub stops, and pub stops are my favourite for the obvious reasons. But my favourite pub stop is probably, or the one that I've used the most, is the Fox House. It's sort of between Sheffield and Peak District. There's loads of people go, and they let you stay. So what happens is they've got a big car park, and they let you stay if you have a meal or you have some drinks, and they're dead chilled about it. In fact, I bet you won't even need to do that. The thing is, there's a big plot of land at the top, which I'm not 100%, but I've heard it's owned by council, so they don't have any say over that anyway. And there's loads of van lifers. You can go any night, and there'll be at least 5 or 6 vans there. It's a top. It's a really good location. Then you got all hiking around there as well. It can get a little bit sludgy though, if there's been a lot of rain. This next one is from my friend Debbie, who lives in Bridlington. Hey up Debbie. And she's also a boys aficionado. She's in more than me. Hi James, enjoyed last night's vlog as always. Seems a bit scary to me wherever you park up, but of course you are a big butch man. Ooh. Can't wait till you start choosing a new van. Hope Helen gets better soon. Thanks Debbie. Yeah, I realise that. I'm a bloke, aren't I? It's not as scary if it was a single woman in a van, and I'm not being patronising at all, because I know there's some tough women, but when I pulled up on that lane last night, you're a little bit cautious. You're not as totally chilled out as you'd normally be, but I got in van and I fell asleep watching some van life stuff, and you forget about it. You completely forget. It's a lot of it's in your head. Like I've said, there is a potential chance that somebody could come and try and break into your van, and I've got a big stick for if that happens. But statistically, logically, it's not really going to happen, and there's not marauding gangs of van life sabotagers wandering around. I know people say they've had eggs thrown at the van, but I've seen a few channels, and I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen a few that they're saying they've had the knock, and they're doing that. They've done it 3 or 4 times on the channel. I think, and they've always got camera ready, haven't they? When you're in the middle of a situation like that, you never think to film. I've only ever had one. It weren't van life. That were not to do with van life either. When me and Helen got attacked that time, people say you should have filmed it, and I thought, yeah, I didn't think about it at the time when somebody's chucking bricks at you. Sorry if I didn't think to put my camera on. I mean, maybe I should have, but so yeah. If I'd have got knocked at middle at night last night, I'd have been like, I don't know what I'd have done. I'd have peeked through my window, and my psychology is to just sort of front up to it straight away, and I'd have probably just got out of the van and saying, what do you want? Top channel, mate, and that's from Smithy. Hey up, Smithy. Smithy comments on every video, and I really appreciate that. How's Helen, mate? My wife had that bug, took 3 weeks to get rid of it. She's still got a little bit of it, but she's a lot better. And that's from Jack. Thank you, Jack. Doreen, did wonder, James, how safe are you? You must have to choose park-ups with caution. I find it sad that you may have to think this way. In a perfect world, it would be good just to be free. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying completely. You look back at 50s and 60s, not that I lived through that, but I like my history and my social history, and it was a completely different country, and I'm not going to go down that route. There's a reason I don't do politics on my channel, and it's because I get very passionate about things. And yeah, it is sad that we've got to think like that, but I still think, I mean, I'm not going to go and park in roughest city centres and stuff like that, because that would just be daft. I tried a really rough place once and I had to leave because it were a bit scary, but that's because I purposefully went there to film a vlog. And it is sad that I have to think, be a bit paranoid, but I still love, on the whole, I still love it. I love the lifestyle. Hi James, this is from Jonathan. Hi James, hope you are well. Not to be nosy, but more curious, can I ask how you fund all your mini breaks and general cost of living if you don't work? I know you say YouTube is your full-time job, but it can't pay that much. I earn good money and struggle every month, and I'm very careful, so just curious how you manage it. Kind regards, Jonathan. You know when you meet people out and about, and they say, what do you do? And I'll say, I'm a YouTuber. First thing they say is, how much do you earn? And it fluctuates month to month. You can have big months and then you can have little months. I'm hoping that Christmas period, because you've got all these sales and it's the last quarter of the year, and payments tend to go up a little bit. But then January, I might as well just not work January. It is work. YouTube is a full-time job, and you won't understand that until you've done it. You won't understand. It's the best job I've ever done. I love it. I'm so passionate about it, but it's still work, and there's issues with it, such as content anxiety and worrying. And if you're ill, you've got to get vlogs out every week. I know people that have had certain issues and then they've taken a break from YouTube and they've come back and the channel's ruined. It's completely ruined, and these are big channels. I know some people can claw it back, but it's not that easy. So there's all that anxiety all the time, and you don't know how long it's going to last for. Is YouTube going to be around in 10 years time? I don't know. But it pays me all right. It pays me, I would say, an acceptable wage. You know, I'm nearly 52, and it pays an acceptable wage for 52. The reason it's so much better for me is because I don't have any bills. I'm saving about £1,500 a month on what I was paying in rent and gas and electricity and all those things. I've still got a few bills, you know, like mobile phone and Netflix and maintenance and stuff like that, but nowhere near as much. So I'm earning well, and I'm not paying many bills, and I'm quite frugal day to day. So the money starts saving up, and then that's why we go on lots of trips. And we also go on lots of trips for YouTube, because when we go on those trips, it makes more money. They get higher views and they make more money for the channel, so that's a win-win. We have a brilliant, I'm not going to say, oh, woe is me, I'm having to go on holiday. I love it, it's brilliant, but you know, we film a bit of it, and it sort of pays for holiday, more or less. And we also do occasionally do sponsorships. I've got one coming up in my next video. I don't like doing too many of them because I think they put people off, but you know, you can get a good payment sometimes. Feeling a bit of condensation there on rubber. So I hope that answers your question. And now the page is gonna, oh god, bear with me, I've lost it again. Look at these two dodgy reprobates. Hey up sunshine, hope you're good. That's from Northerners on tour. Hope you subscribe to them, by the way. They're just lovely people, really. See, I've met loads of YouTubers, me, and there's some you're always a little bit but then I've made some really good friends, and they're top people. Mark and Lisa, so hello. Stephen Hunt, powerful vlogs, mate, keep it up. Me and the family love your vlogs, and laugh as much. Thanks, James and Helen. Thank you, Steve. Doreen again. And you had one, Doreen? Or have I done that one? Oh, I'm so... Oh yeah, that same one. I probably read same ones there. What do you do about post? You use a relative's address. And I also have a lockup unit which can accept post, but I don't really like to use that, but I could do. I use that for parcels and stuff. Hello James, I'm just watching your video now, mate. Well, that was 18 years ago, 18 hours ago, so you're not watching it now, are you? But thank you, Anthony. And then, is there an app that helps with park-up locations? That sounds like one of them staged questions. That sounds like a question from somebody who owns the app that I'm about to talk about, doesn't it? And that's from Habc Def. Yeah, there's Park for Night. You need to use Park for Night. It's really good. If you're in a new area, you don't know anything, don't know any park-ups, just go on Park for Night app, and it gives you all potential locations, whether it's car parks, lanes, streets, and then people review them and give them a score, so you can read the reviews. Like, you might see a car park and then people put, oh, don't go here, it's full of boy races and stuff, or other people have said, you know, this is a great spot. So that's a good app, Park for Night. I've got it on my phone, I use it all the time. There's another one called Search for Sites, which is very similar. I don't know if that's an app though, but I just search on website when I use that. For pub stops, I think I mentioned this yesterday. For pub stops, there's the Facebook pages. I'll put them on. I'll put them all in the description or on screen. Your van looks so comfortable. I might build one and live in it parked in the back of my house. Well, that's, you can do. The very first night I spent in this van, when I converted it myself, it were on my drive, because I still had my house then, so it were on my drive. Neighbours saw me at 7 o'clock in the morning getting out of the van. I'm like, morning. Cheers James, says Stephen. As I said to you before, it's something that really worries me. Well, it is I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, don't be worried, because you're going to be. And if you watch my earlier videos, I didn't sleep a wink, because you're heightened to every noise. And it's like, you know, a mother that's got a newborn baby, they don't sleep hardly at all, because she's so wary of something could happen. That's a terrible comparison, but all I'm saying is you don't sleep very deeply because you're a bit on edge. But then as time goes by, you get used to it, and I sleep quite well. I do now. I've talked in the past about being a light sleeper, but I've recently started taking magnesium, and I take what's it called, melatonin, which I don't think you can get over here, but you can buy them in supermarkets in America. And last time Helen went to America, she fetched me loads back, so I've started using that. You just take it half an hour before you go to bed, and you sleep quite deeply. So there you go, that's answering your questions. There weren't too many questions. Don't be scared by trying van life. Start up on campsites, then go to a pub stop, find a good pub, do some pub stops, and if you've got any messages, just put them in comments below. I'll try my best to answer them, and yeah, just go for it. Van life's amazing, and it's the best thing. It's getting harder. Councils seem to hate it, and it's only a matter of time before they start taxing us. They'll tax anything they can, especially this government. They'll probably make it illegal. But yeah, that's it. That's this video. It's probably going to be long with all this rambling I've done, but I said I'd do it. And if there's any other videos you'd like me to do on parts of living in the van. I'll do them at some point. My next video is going to be, I'm going to go on a little trip somewhere. I might do one of me. I'm going to do some time with a tenner or something like that, but I don't know. I said I was going to go to Bradford, but then people have said don't go to Bradford at the moment because there's loads of regeneration and roadworks and stuff, and it's a bit of a nightmare. It was like that in Bolton. Oh God. When I got to Bolton, I drove all the way there and I got to the outskirts of the city, and then I was driving around for what seemed like an hour, you know, just through all traffic lights and everything. The infrastructure in this country, that you don't see that in Spain. I didn't see any roadworks in Spain. Then you come here and you're stuck in bloody traffic. Crap. Same with trains. Germany, Spain, on trains, boom, they're there, they're on time, trains, no problem, straight there, super fast. Come to England, there's no trains, it's delayed, they're on strike. It's crap, absolutely crap. Manchester Airport, train station, they even stop at night. They stop at some, I don't know what times, but I've had a flight get in early hours to Manchester and there's no trains. I mean, that's ridiculous. An airport like that. Anyway, this is developing into James Rants. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you at next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll, you know, take care. Alright, see you there.